force Fnatic to consider the likes of a Trundle ban, because I don't know if Fnatic are going to feel like Trundle is first pick worthy, whereas Mima may want to get his hands onto that pick. We have also seen Super Haku playing a double AP comp in the past. It was paired with the Wukong, and seeing that Pantheon is out of the mix, there is some possibility for that. We'll see how they decide to continue this.
Respect ban there, Kale being banned out by the blue side, something we haven't seen since the 4.2 changes. We are on 4.2 here, of course, so his ultimate and his heal have been changed, his wave clear. That's taken away from Moose.
So Elise is still up, Nidalee is still up, Annie is still up. You know, these are all champions that Fnatic have done very, very well with in the past. And I don't even know where Super Haku are going to go with, and it's actually going to be the Lulu as the final ban. So what that means is those very high priority champions are still there.
Okay, so we've seen Ziggs being used as first pick a number of times for Fnatic. Does Soaz let Peke talk him into it again?
It's tough. I think with Elise being up, knowing Impaler likes those sort of gank-heavy junglers, it is a possibility for them to take. I think Trundle is still available as well. I think Annie is still a consideration. If you want to go for, you know, AD carries, you've even got Lucian that's up there. We've seen teams like Millennium first picking Lucian in the past, so there's a lot of possibilities.
It's Yellowstar doing all the talking actually at the moment. Yellowstar and Soaz listening to it. Now Peke is doing a bit of discussion, so they really are having an in-depth discussion about this first pick. It's Peke that seems to be getting the choice though, again, and this could be LeBlanc for him.
So what this means, if it does get locked in, it's going to be a very similar situation to what Gambit did earlier in the day. LeBlanc is a very good mid lane pick. You can blind pick her because she does well against farmers, she does well against assassins, she's got a root, a dash, as well as a silence. So there are so many tools that LeBlanc has to use in lane. It's actually a fairly safe pick considering how squishy she is.
So Super Hot crew, will they lock in that bottom lane, that duo pairing? You do see Impaler and Mima on your screen, but it's maybe Mr. Rales and Mixer they're going to be aiming for. Elise, well, it's available, and it may be Impaler that wants to go for it. It's his second champion, if I recall rightly, from his discussions. It used to be Vi #1, Elise #2.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting that today we've seen the Pantheon and the Wukong being banned out and Elise being let through. Teams are feeling that the newer, the more in-meta picks are more ban-worthy, and we talked about the supports that were available. With Thresh being locked in for Mixer, he is a phenomenal Thresh player. It does allow the potential for Annie to be locked in, or even Leona for Fnatic later down the line.
Let's see whether Yellowstar does want to go with that Annie. He's made some great Tibbers plays before. It's Cyanide and Peke on your screen right now, though. They are the ones making the choice for the team. The discussions continuing back and forth. It's Soaz doing the talking right now. You can see him in the bottom left of your screen discussing what exact comp they want.
So Trundle is still up, and I think it is a pick that both of these teams have done well with in the past. Soaz has decided not to run it many times previously, and we are going to be seeing Cyanide on Evelyn. It's a change. I'm happy to see him change because his Wukong has been somewhat uninspirational. When he gets ahead, he's great.
Hit and miss.
Exactly. That's the best way to describe it.
But I don't recall ever seeing him on Evelyn, like ever.
No, I'm pretty sure this is the first time. Yeah.
I'm trying to cast my mind back through the summer, through the spring of last year when Fnatic were dominant, winning out both of those splits, and don't recall ever seeing him on Evelyn.
So the Evelyn pick is one that is also picking up popularity in and amongst the European junglers. We're seeing her being played by a multitude of champions. Diamond is obviously playing her, Aranea is doing it, we've seen Impaler doing it 2 weeks ago, now we're seeing Cyanide picking it up as well. I want to see how Fnatic round out the rest of this composition because they've got pretty strong lanes already. LeBlanc's going to do pretty well in that mid lane, Caitlyn's going to do pretty well, pretty much with whoever she's paired with.
Jax and Lucian being locked in. So the Lucian-Caitlyn standard AD carry pairing, and well, actually Lucian Thresh is a very strong pairing, but more importantly this Jax actually being blind pick in towards that top lane, so we're going to see what Soaz has to play against it.
I wonder if this is a brave pick, basically saying we don't want you to pick a bruiser. You know, we've seen Soaz running Dr. Mundo many times in the past, and his Dr. Mundo is very good. 4 games played this split already, and Jax will be able to dumpster Mundo in lane. So by locking that in, you basically force Soaz onto a very bad matchup or a champion like an AP.
Illustar's feeling the mood right now. He's got that jiggle going on. He's feeling these picks and bans. Maybe he's feeling the beat.
I think he's feeling the tension right now.
Feeling the tension.
1-9 out of the last 10 games. Fnatic really want to, you know, get a positive position. This is also a tie between these two teams. They're both 8-9 in the standings. I want to see where they're going to go.
Oh, it's the Malphite in the top lane for Soaz. Well, complete role reversal for him. You know, so many times he said, I don't like playing those tanky champions. We also saw Morgana getting locked in for Yellowstar.
So support is going to be a very key pick here in terms of defending whoever engages. That Black Shield is going to be very powerful. When you look at the single target CCs you got from the Cocoon or the Death Sentence, Black Shield will help out and work in their favor.
Now this would be a very clever pick. Lissandra, of course, that ultimate would completely negate anything LeBlanc did to him, but it's a much longer cooldown than LeBlanc's ultimate.
Significantly higher. What's also quite smart, if it goes that way, you can also potentially survive the Wombo combo that Fnatic has put together. If you look at the composition for Fnatic, they're relying on Dark Bindings or the Unstoppable Force to set something up, and then you let Caitlyn and LeBlanc finish people off with Evelynn running amok in and amongst the mixture as well. Over on the other side, SUPA crew with locking in Karthus now. This is quite smart because if they does get blown up, the damage from the Requiem is still going to be guaranteed.
It's still a brave pick, I feel, into a LeBlanc of Peke. That's asking for trouble, I feel.
So what I think the reasoning that makes sense to me here is that Super Hot Crew are anticipating the lane going in favor of Fnatic. Obviously, LeBlanc's going to have a lot of fun against the Karthus. However, once you get to those team fights, Karthus' damage is going to happen. We've seen it work very well for Froggen. We got 2 new champions in the mix here. Soaz in that Malphite. We see moves pulling out the Karthus, and I quite like it if Super Hot Crew can keep Fnatic on top of them.
So what do we make of these 2 team comps? I mean, we've got quite a lot of all-in, honestly, from Fnatic. You can see, obviously, the Unstoppable Force piling in there. Morgana's going to be flashing in there. Evelynn wants to get in there. Everybody wants to get in from Fnatic.
If Peke and Reckless are not able to stick to the same target and find a pick, their composition is going to fall apart, because we've seen those Malphite engages fizzle to nothing, and that's what we're going to be looking for that team.
Well, the champion has been picked. Kassadin has been banned. Let's take a look at the votes for this match. Fnatic's fans continue to rally behind them, and their team, they picked them 75% of the vote, and I think it's safe to say 75% of the crowd vote in this studio as well.
Oh, that's for sure. There's a lot of fans behind Fnatic, and regardless of their recent form, I think those fans are still going to be there, you know, through thick and thin. They had a very good showing yesterday, Fnatic, and they'll be looking to repeat a similar one, but with a different outcome today.
Sticking by them. Super Hot Crew, meanwhile, they have had a good turnaround over the last few weeks. They've got to shake out yesterday's performance, though, because that was not a good game.
So if we go back to last week, Super Hot Crew lost the game on Thursday, bounced back and won the game on Friday. So they showed they had the ability to do it, and we're going to see what they do right now as we get into game.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3 of the day, and, well, Game 8 of Super Week, so we are at halfway stage right now. Fnatic odds the blue team, facing off against the Super Hot Crew as the red team. And there's nothing I'm seeing other than picks. Well, we do see Mima, of course, going for that Doran's Blade up against Soaz with the Doran's Shield, but that's kind of to be expected.
And of course, with Mima running Flash Ignite, he has the ability to make kills happen against Soaz and Malphite. You know, he's got the tools, he's got a stun, he can leap over Malphite, you know, if we see the duels going. And I think for a player like Mima, he needs to get more aggressive at the right time. Yesterday, he was trying to do it against Alliance, but it was costing him. He was losing trades to Wicked, and it ended up hurting him. He lost his flash a little bit sillily, unnecessarily, and he can't afford to do that today.
Well, we see the dance in the top lane from Soaz. Mima keeping in place there as well. But we are going to see nothing in level 1.
No, nothing at all. Again, defensive starts. It's pretty much the in-meta thing. You see each player basically fending off against their opposite number. We've got a little bit of time to talk about the lanes. I feel like Jax is going to have an easier time dealing with Malphite, although Malphite is pretty anti-bruiser. You know, Malphite's going to be able to slow Jax's move speed, and he's going to be able to slow his attack speed with that ground slam. But once Jax gets some items, I feel like he'll be winning. We already know Moop's ideally going to be building for the mid to late game. He wants those team fights in this Requiem to help the rest of his team carry.
This is a lot on the shoulders of Peke here as well. You know, he's not had some great performances over the last few weeks. We've got to see how he does with his LeBlanc. It's a high-skill champion, safe to say. You've got to land those binding. Dark Binding landing on Mixer, actually. I was about to say you've got to land that leash, but the Dark Binding thrown straight out. They'd already seen the Mixer taking that flay because he saw him in the bush. Yeah,
so they know the Death Sentence isn't available. That's actually very good from Yellow Star. If you can keep getting some Dark Bindings down, follow it up with some auto attacks, it's going to allow that very long-range Dark Binding and very long-range Caitlyn to just keep that Thresh, Lucian at bay. Over time, though, Thresh and Lucian do have the ability to land some good, you know, flay on-hit damage and get some of those piercing lights down from Lucian, but we'll see how how this lane plays out.
Yeah, I mean, overall, you can see SUPA crew obviously going to be going for that late game. You talked about the Carthers, but the Jacks as well will become an absolute beast late game.
Yeah, one of the things we also have to remember about this laning phase between these two duos is Mixer and Mr. Rolls are arguably the most aggressive. We've seen them go all in at level 2 more frequently than any other duo. So it's smart that Reckless and Yellowstar are pushing them back. They've got the level advantage, and they're already pushing Mr. Rolls and Mixer off their comfort zone.
It is a long way, really, since the record-breaking days of Reckless and Yellowstar in the first Super Week of the LCS. They went, it was 26-something KDA between the two of them. It was an insane start for those first few games. An insane start to the season, honestly, with that 7-0. We were talking about maybe they could go for Cloud9's record overall in the LCS, but it wasn't to be. They ended up chasing the Copenhagen Wolves record in the LCS, which was not really when they wanted to go. Of course, I'm talking about the Copenhagen Wolves of the spring split, which was the 0-9.
Yeah, that was last year, same time. For Fnatic, though, I think they've got a fairly good composition as long as Peke and Reckless don't fall behind or don't get shut down. Because of the fact that Soaz is most likely going to build tanky on that Malphite, he's an initiation power to be comboed with Cyanide. And the cleanup crew has to be Peke and Reckless finishing people down. Yes, Cyanide and Evelyn can run people down, but really, you're hoping that it's Peke and Reckless. I like the fact that Yellowstar's gone to the Morgana as opposed to Annie or Leona, which were both available. So it's already showing some diversity in his play, and it's a good pick because it'll actually help. The Black Shield can block some of that damage from Requiem on at least one target.
So far in the moment, we do see Moops. Well, surprise, surprise, he's taken some damage from Peke. This is going to be a risky lane for him in the opening 6 levels.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle of...
To be honest, probably more than the 6 levels.
Oh, yes.
It's just going to be a risky lane from him in total.
Moops is always going to be at risk of being, being popped and being shut down. And like, look at that, the damage from Peke. Moops is forced to farm with his lay wastes from range, and that's just going to allow Peke a lot of free time on LeBlanc to get the items that he needs.
Next time that combo's up, he's got Ignite, he could just go in and finish him.
And I think Peke basically needs to. If Peke wants to get himself an advantage against this Karthus, it's now in these early stages, before Moops has ability power leveled up, before he's got Requiem, things like that. So we just need to keep our eyes on that, because I'm expecting Peke to even potentially dive. Whenever you pick an assassin into Karthus, you are expecting to die on Karthus.
Well, we just saw an early teleport being used by Soaz there. Of course, he did pick that one up, something we didn't mention in the start, and something I actually don't like mentioning until the game's underway, because obviously the teams maybe could hear. They generally can't, though. Oh, Peke's going to go in for Moops. He does manage to land the combo. There's the Ignite. It's not going to be enough, though. A little bit early, but Cyanode's going to come in. It's a hit and run, and he has gone down.
Yeah, lay waste on the side. You do see Moops is out.
Impaler comes in, manages to get one kill on towards Cyanide. Can he get the second? Sorry, Peke going down. Cyanide flashing away from that one. Good counter from Impaler.
Very importantly, Moops was the one that actually got the kill credit on the side of SUPA crew because of the Death-Defied passive. One more lay waste from Peke. One more lay waste landed on Peke and managed to get the kill. Impaler was in range at the right time, and the strength of Elise versus Evelyn is part of the reason that they went so well for the SUPA crew.
When we're using that in power, smacking on towards Soaz. As I did, was about to say, Soaz went back to make sure he got that chain vest early on. So we're going to try and keep Mima away from him as long as possible. And I'm interested to see how he builds this Malphite, because of course the only other Malphite so far we've seen in the league has been from Wicked. Not sure we're going to see the Trinity Force this time from Soaz.
I'm not going to call that a traditional Malphite build, but I think if I think back to last year when Soaz was playing Malphite, he tended to build very tanky. He tended to build the likes of a Sunfire Cape, maybe get an Abyssal Scepter down the line, but generally I feel like he needs to be the front line, and he needs to be trying to keep Mima off of his carries. Throwing out those shards and reducing the attack speed of Mima's Jax is going to reduce the amount of damage he can output quite significantly.
So Tier was picked up by Moops, so he's going to try and stack that one out. Of course, that's going to build up in towards that big shield he can get. Seraph's Embrace, I believe, he's probably going to go for. We'll see how it works out for him. Peke, meanwhile, well, expected maybe going to go for the DFG early on here on the LeBlanc.
Yeah, so that's pretty standard for LeBlanc. I think Moops once again going for slightly greedy, but look at that damage from one combo. Now, LeBlanc's ultimate at rank 1 is a 34-second cooldown with that cooldown reduction, and that just means Peke is going to wait 30 seconds, rinse and repeat. That's going to be a dead Moops.
And he's going to have to play this one so cautiously, because Peke is, like you say, just going to zone him out. That's exactly what's happening now. and mid lane at zoning out each other, and that's a problem, and that's really going to call Impaler to come gank more often.
Oh, definitely. Impaler basically has to pitch a tent in this middle lane. Get some s'mores, stop making some marshmallows, and really try to help Moops out. Because Moops has also gone for a fairly greedy mid to late game build with that tier, scaling to Archangels, it also means he doesn't have any additional MR outside of his runes and masteries. Maybe going for the likes of an Athene's, which is not ideal on Karthus, could have been a smarter option. The additional MR, maybe making the lane a little easier, but you got to give credit to him. He is sitting on even CS with Peke.
Keeping up with him quite nicely. We do see them both heading off for their blue buffs, and we'll see whether there's maybe an invade from Peke. Not too sure there's going to be. Bottom lane, well, both AD carries have both been back, keeping themselves very even as well. Both got that BF swords, and their farm so far is slightly in favor of Reckless, but it is very close.
Yeah, very even across the board, across the rest of the lanes. I think outside of that very heavy mismatch in the mid lane, it's not necessarily like one of the other lanes can absolutely stop Peke. Just going over for Moops, look at the bursts.
And this is what we were talking about. He's going across towards that blue buff, and Moops just takes himself a chunk of damage. He's going to be chugging through those health pots every time that Peke gets that ultimate off cooldown.
Yeah, Moops just grabbed himself a blue buff, and Peke will be thinking, I want that. He's going to be able to burst him out very shortly. Moops is back the way to heal.
He didn't even have his ultimate in that engage, and it took half hit points off him. He's starting to get stronger and stronger, and it's only a matter of time before he can pretty much take him down in one quick burst.
Well, that's the thing now, is what do the rest of the lanes do? How does Super Hot Crew play with this Karthus? Because you obviously know that Moops can't necessarily sit in the 1v1, and Tyler's been covering out this mid lane. Now he's the target from Peke.
And he's putting some damage on, and Peke's just going to get more confident with this one. Going to be taking out those waves. Cyanide looking towards the dragon, and of course it's something you've definitely got to keep your eye on, because we've seen some very early dragons from the Elise plays. This time around it is Impaler. We do see Cyanide sneaking in towards his bottom bush. There is a ward there, but he hasn't been spotted out just yet. The hook on Reckless is going to go in for it, but it's bad timing because Cyanide is close by. Mixer's in all sorts of trouble, caught out with that Dark Binding in Yellow Star. Mr. Raleigh trying to counter in this one. He's going very aggressive. Requiem is available, but they're not going to go for it. And now Mr. Raleigh's in trouble. He gets barriered out there, has to run away.
Now the Requiem didn't get channeled from Moops because Peke was running interference. That's a flash binding.
Dark Binding doesn't land. Impaler's going to keep on chasing on here. Can he get on towards Yellow Star? I don't think he will. He won't continue going. Reckless is so low here, but we're not seeing that Requiem.
Reckless will not die to a Requiem a second time without using Barrier. The last time it happened was against Alliance. He didn't use Barrier, he died. Moops has only rank 1 in his ultimate. He doesn't have any additional ability power with the exception of his runes and mastery. So, you know, he's got a tiny bit from that ring. The level 1 Requiem I don't think would have killed Reckless. Reckless is at about 250 HP with Barrier. So probably smart, but you have to feel like maybe just one more auto attack could have helped it.
And that Rod of Ages now being built up as well means he's not going to have that ability power for some time here. Oh, we do actually see Peke getting caught out. That Wall of Pain does go down and puts a little damage on him. Peke again going to be face checking in towards Impaler. He's just trying to bait out that cocoon.
Yeah, Cyanide is definitely in range. I'm pretty sure Peke is going to be aware of this one. Just trying to pull Impaler towards him. Impaler decides to back away. Now with the pink ward in the Dragon Pit, as you've already mentioned, Dragon at early stages is quite easy with Elise. You get his Spiderlings to tank it up. Impaler's just trying to keep and maintain control of that area. They don't want to give one away early.
Speaking of giving away, Mixer's once again giving away that death. He's very high in the death rankings, but look at Peke, not worried about Moops at all, and again goes aggressive. Moops trying to turn this one around. That's pretty ballsy. He knew the cooldowns of Peke's abilities. He's also pretty low on mana.
Yeah, remember that Moops, if he does die, he still has Requiem. So if he gets 1 or 2 more lay waste on Peke, plus Requiem should be enough to kill him. So in that situation, Moops is just looking for a trade. Now we see that Impaler once again set himself up in this mid lane. Peke's backed away, so no real threat of a gank coming in right now.
Cyanide just caught a glimpse of him. He was actually doing the raids at the same time. Peke not quite done yet. It's like a caged animal just snapping back at Moops there. But Impaler, it's bought him a little bit of time here. He's going for that dragon, but now Yellow Star goes in. And he hooked from Mixer, going following all the way deep on that one. We're going to see the ultimate coming out from Yellow Star, not going to land. Mixer backs away from this one. Soaz is there. Unstoppable Force going to catch out Mixer. Doesn't need it. It's just going to be Peke that will pick that one up. Now Moops is caught out. There's the Unstoppable Force. Peke comes back in. Requiem is available once he goes down. Peke is going to drop. It's Maimin that picks himself up a kill. They're going to turn this one back around. The Culling comes out. Requiem going in there. Can they catch on towards him? Yellowstar with the dart binding on towards Impaler. Cyanide running for his life here. They have got chase. Mima leaps in there, flashes through for it, gets the kill, and they continue pushing. It's a good turnaround in the end by the Super Hot crew.
Yeah, very well played. At the end of that, that was a 2 for 2 in terms of kills, but now Super Hot crew have started off this dragon. Dark Binding's not going to really interrupt, and Super Hot crew should be able to secure this dragon. That was a good play. They backed away quickly enough, and we talked about that wombo combo from Fnatic. If it doesn't hit multiple members and Pekka and Reckless can't clean up, Fnatic have a difficult time in those prolonged team fights. Super Hot crew did pretty well, considering they were caught out to begin with.
And we've been talking about how dangerous it is for, say, Peke, or maybe even Moops to get them kills, but when a Jax gets kills, there is some real problems.
Yeah, especially when he's going to deal with a Caitlyn. Caitlyn has very little abilities to kill a Jax. She relies on her auto attacks immensely. So once Mima jumps in with that counter-strike, he's going to mitigate so many of those auto attacks from Reckless's Caitlyn. But Mima needs to be at the right place at the right time. In that previous fight, he managed to roam down quickly enough to help close it out and get those 2 kills. Had Mima left 10 seconds later, he would not have been there. So there's a lot of pressure on Mima to be at the right place at the right time when his team needs it.
He needs to track Soaz. And Soaz, well, that unstoppable force working well, and it showed their target. They went straight for Moops, tried to deal with him, tried to take him out of the fight, and actually that Defile didn't really have any effect, but well, that Requiem is always going to have an effect. It's on a big cooldown right now, and Peke, he's looking to try and deal with his 2-kill Mima.
I think Mima's going to get deaded. Unstoppable Force isn't available just yet if they delay a tiny bit longer, but a good route from Soaz could kill him.
He's got nothing to leap to either. He has got Impaler close by, but oh, he's going to face check in the bush. That's going to catch him out, and wow, just one single combo from Peke deals the damage. No problem there. Peke gets the kill.
Yeah, Mima got deaded.
Yeah,
there wasn't any tools for him to deal with. A root, a silence, Unstoppable Force wasn't even needed. If Peke decides to roam or do the same thing again, he can basically do that to him in the lane. He's got Deathfire Grasp available, so Impaler's got to be a little bit careful under the tower. They could dive him as well.
They could go for it. Moops is about to come up from the mid lane, and actually Peke is not backing off from this one. He's going for it. Oh, Unstoppable Force got repelled away from by Impaler. Holy moly, that was close, but he's still going to go down nonetheless. And it's Peke with another kill.
I literally jumped off my feet. I cannot believe he repelled the Unstoppable Force. That was incredible timing. It didn't do anything to prevent him dying, but that was a great moment. Fnatic get the kill. They also get the first tower of the game.
There's only so much he can do when Peke's got the bit between his teeth, and well, he saw that DFG combo with all those spells just taking down, and it was dangerous, dangerous play, but my god, Impaler, those reactions.
Yeah, it makes me sick, because that was very good, but unfortunately he shouldn't have been there. Fact of the matter is, Unstoppable Force had not been used when Mima was killed. The communication should have been there between Super Hot crew, so I feel like he was in a bad position to begin with. And because, of course, LeBlanc has got such short cooldowns, you really shouldn't be giving those away. Regardless, Fnatic get themselves 6 kills to 3, and they're just going to back away and stop farming.
And worse still, the unseen gain from Fnatic here is Cyanide just farmed out that mid lane the whole time. He's now 87 to 60 CS, but that's all mid lane farmers while he's been gaining, while Peke was in that top getting kills.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad trade-off. Because of the fact Peke's actually got those kills, you know, in the top lane, he's got 2 of them to his name now.
It's not a bad trade-off, it's a massive benefit.
Exactly, so he's got the levels, he's got the kills, and Peke, realizing he's got this great kill potential that can be, you know, combined with the CC of Morgana in this bottom lane, he's now roaming again. We need to keep a very close eye on HP, because Super Hot crew's duo lane, they could get dove, and they could get insta-killed as well.
Well, the culling being used to keep them at bay. Don't take the minions out there, that's what you're going to aim for. That's level basic stuff there, Mr. Riley's going for the minion towers instead.
Look at Peke. He can catch somebody. Impaler's there, he's going on Mixer.
He's going on Mixer, and that's just a single little combo on towards him. Skitter inspired from Impaler. Impaler's just reporting back to his team and saying, you don't want to be here, mate. That Peke, he's a bit scary. You don't want to be too close to him.
I learned his lessons. Now, teleport is available in just a few seconds as well, so if Soaz wanted to join, he could. He's just pushing that top lane heavily. Mima's gone back to buy his Triforce, and Soaz has got all the way to that inner turret.
He's slapping that turret right now. Going to keep that pressure on. Peke's got himself in towards that Tribush. It's only a matter of time before someone goes down. Oh, it's Impaler who repels up there, takes the chain with him. But Super Hot crew, they have to do something to react here. Moops is not moving. He's trying to farm out that mid lane, and well, Cyanide's continuing to farm the mid again. This is what I talked about. Now we see the rotations coming in. Soaz moves in there. It's the mid lane they want. We do see the jump on towards Soaz. You are going to get the defile on him. There's a lot of lay waste going down, and there's no magic resist really for Soaz, so he's taking a lot of punishment. Super Hot Crew, they are starting to fall away from this game.
Also, we have to retract our earlier statement about Soaz going Trinity Force. He's picked himself up a Sheen as his second item. We'll see where that progresses to. Might actually be trying.
He started off with the Sunfire Cape though.
He did.
We'll see where it goes, but maybe laying a little bit of credit towards Wicked on this one.
Yeah, and looking for, you know, a little bit more Bruiser, being less only ultimate reliant. If he does go for that Trinity Force, you do have additional spells. You can get additional auto attacks down and slows, etc.
Well, the big difference here, of course, when Wicked did it was up against the Mundo, so literally had nothing to counter the Mundo. Yeah. Whereas up against the Jax, well, okay, it's not such a bad deal.
You've got some more tools in your kit as Malphite to deal with the Jax, but this is obviously going to help him out just a little bit more. I actually think it's quite smart because it adds an additional threat to the Fnatic lineup. When I seen picks and bans, I had automatically discounted Malphite as an ultimate bot. He's an initiation tool. Once his initiation's down, yeah, there's some utility that comes up, but generally speaking, Malphites don't tend to offer that much. Right now, though, sidesteps that Dark Binding. The rest of Fnatic are roaming. They've got themselves a 4,000 gold lead already, and Super Hot Crew cannot afford to give up this next dragon. They've already hemorrhaged 2 towers. They need to make sure they get some dragon control with this team, otherwise they're just going to be too far behind in gold to have any team fights that will matter.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about how they are a late game team and they are trying to position themselves for this dragon, but Fnatic are in position to try and counter this one again. Up the top lane, Soaz continuing to push on towards that tower. He has got teleport available if it's needed, but I think they may be happy to take this inner turret in the top lane.
Yeah, Karthus didn't come down quickly enough. The rest of Fnatic peeled away. They've now set their sights on moves, but I think Soaz has got a lot of time. Oh, that hook was close. That was a flash hook that failed. Traded dragon for tower. Fnatic will be happy with that.
Yeah, inner turret for a dragon. I'll take that any day of the week. And while Super Hot Crew keep them away from the mid, the top lane's continuing to be pushed. Someone's going to counter this one.
Yeah, I think right now Super Hot Crew are being pushed backwards. If too many members go top to defend, it's going to allow Fnatic to get on the inner mid turret, or the mid outer turret rather. Cyanide stealing away the red buff. This is very good positional play, forcing Super Hot Crew into the lane and stealing away the jungle where they can't contest.
This is the Fnatic that fans know and love. The rotation speed that they have, the tactical prowess. They are fully aware of the situation, and you can see they're setting up for ganks. They're trying to create plays here, and it may well be the mid lane they're going to go towards. Yellow Star ready and waiting. Has got his flash ultimate available. We do see moves very deep in the lane here. He's going to come in. He's going to try and put some damage down. Yellow Star has to flash away from this one. Mr. Raleigh may well not catch him out here. They're now going to pressure in that mid lane. Requiem coming out. Is it enough?
No!
No, it's not.
But it does allow Super Hot Crew to get onto the turret, so this will be a first tower of the game for the Super Hot Crew. Not necessarily the greatest trade when you consider Soaz is left untouched in the top lane, but small advantage Super Hot Crew.
If he gets that Trinity Force, they're going to have to deal with him. He's just pushing on towards it. Blue buff has spawned. We do see Impaler and Moops coming up here. I don't think that's going to get countered. It will go across the Moops, and that is almost certainly needed. But it does mean he didn't have it available when he just used Requiem.
Yeah, I think right now when we see the Super Hot Crew, the plan of action for them has to be defending more turrets. And I think they need to have a designated player dealing with that Malphite, because right now, Soaz has made it very clear he just wants to maintain control of that top lane. He's definitely going for that Trinity Force, grab himself a Phage, and I actually want to see how this Malphite Triforce versus Jax Triforce plays out. I feel like Jax should still win out over time, especially if Mima gets himself some lifesteal in there, like a Blade of the Ruined King or something similar. But we'll have to see what he decides to itemize next.
Jack's just about to back off. We'll have himself a chunk of gold just trying to shove that wave out. Fnatic looking for a bit of an invade here and maybe trying to position themselves to try and catch someone out in the jungle. Yellow Star and Peke combo, but I don't think it's going to work.
No, not this time around. Hook doesn't connect, and this is very reminiscent of the LeBlanc play that we've seen from Alliance yesterday, if I recall. Looking for picks, looking for somebody to kill to then force objectives. So we got 4v4 in the mid lane. We see Mima and Soaz in the top lane trading a bit. It's actually Mima losing out early on. He's taking too much proc from those shards.
That's a problem. That's a big, big problem. If they can't deal with a Malphite of Soaz, who now has that Sunfire Cape. We had it a long time ago, but he's just continuing to push in that top lane. Triforce almost complete. And if Mima just with that Triforce can't keep him at bay, he's going to have to do something else to deal with him. As it stands, the Super Hot Crew are fending off desperately in this mid lane. It is the final outer turret that Fnatic want.
Yeah, and Super Hot Crew have defended it for a while. They've been sitting on this 4,000 gold difference for, you know, about 3 or 4 minutes time since that last Dragon came up. They traded Dragon for Tower, and they're trying to maintain. We do see Maima has now come back to lane. He's got that Bilgewater Cutlass, so he's starting to get some more damage that I think will help, but it's still not enough, not in his favor. The mid lane, Moops, has got that Archangel Staff completed, so he's going to be maxing that mana significantly quicker than just the tier.
So we do see Cyanide, he's heading in towards that top lane. All of Super Hot Crew still gathering around that mid. They're just unsure of what Fnatic are doing. They've been left guessing, really, and they're just not too sure how to react to this. So
Maima has been a little bit baited in. They're going to go in on him. Oh, you see Cyanide just waiting in the wings. I think this is the hardest part for Fnatic right now because they've got so many towers fairly early on. They've set their sights on that mid turret, but they haven't committed all of the resources to it. And I think they may only do that when this next Dragon respawns. You know, right now, in order for Fnatic to go further into the territory, they have to go very deep in either the top or the bottom lane.
Oh, I think Mr. Rales may be walking straight into a trap here. No, he's playing it safe. He's dashed through the forest. He's like, I don't want none of this. As Peke is missing right now, could be waiting in that blue buff.
Peke could still potentially get a kill if they dove him. You see the rest of Super Hot Crew still, they're milling around in this middle lane. Fnatic is just keeping Super Hot Crew at bay while Fnatic is stealing away the jungle camps. They're farming up the lanes. This is just you know, a little trickle that continues to be in favor of Fnatic. They get a little bit of resources, a little bit of gold, more often than the Super Hot Crew.
They're using fear as their weapon right now. The Super Hot Crew are not too sure. They've got the double threat potential. You've got Cyanide completely roaming. Not showed himself for a very long time, by the way. So they have no idea of his position. No pink wards down whatsoever. We've got, obviously, Peke, he's been laying in wait in those bushes. You can see he's pushing the bottom wave right now, but every time he does disappear, they're just wondering, where is he? Meanwhile, Moops is hanging on in that mid lane. We do see Maima switching lanes here. He's going to be the one that's trying to deal with his bottom threat, but we've already seen he actually can't face against Peke either.
Yeah, right now, Maima doesn't have enough, I think, HP. Well, maybe a full DFG, full combo may actually drop him down, but Maima's got enough attack speed and lifesteal to at least sustain up, as long as he doesn't get 100 to 0'd. And, you know, Super Hot Crew, they're still stalling. It's 3,500, 4,000 gold. It's stayed at this point. Dragon's up in 25 seconds. Fnatic are now grouping towards the river, and that's also why Maima went to that bottom lane. Push it out, get the wave pushing in your favor, and it allows Super Hot Crew to potentially go Dragon and then bot lane tower if they can challenge. But as it stands, Fnatic have got better positioning.
Do they want the fight? Super Hot Crew seemingly are in position for this one. If they can get Moops into position in this Dragon fight, it will be good. That Requiem, along with that Defile, will keep Fnatic at bay. Well, it won't keep them at bay. They'll still go in, but it may well cause some problems. They are starting off the Dragon here. As you can see, it's Impaler that's tanking it out. LeBlanc is coming in from the side there. There's Peke. He's gone towards Impaler. Mixer's getting caught out as well. Mixer's going to go down. There's the unstoppable force. He catches on towards Moops. Moops trying to get himself relevant in this fight. We are going to see the Requiem come out, but to who's it going to take? Impaler's going to get dropped off. It's a double kill for Soaz. And nothing at all, really. We see Reckless go down the AD carry, but so much is left in this one. Soaz may even chase on towards Mr. Rales here. It's a 3-for-1 trade and the Dragon for Fnatic.
Very well played by Fnatic. That bruiser of Soaz is just doing so much work. Nobody could deal with him. Maima was zoned away. You've seen Soaz chasing Impaler down. They end up losing 3-for-1 in that Dragon. And even though Reckless was actually killed in the fight, the rest of the team had enough damage and enough ability to kill Super Hot Crew. So Super Hot Crew need to make sure they're in a better position. They weren't also as stacked as they wanted to be in that situation. They could have tried to maybe pull Fnatic deeper into the jungle for them.
Yeah, well, at this stage of the game, I mean, we're only at the 25-minute mark. This isn't really AD carry time to shine. That will be coming later on. Rainbow, it is all about, well, the jungler and the top lane and the mid lane, it seems, for Fnatic, doing some fantastic work. And let's not discount Yellowstar starting off that entire fight with his ultimate. Super Hot Crew trying to chase some kills there. They really want to shut down Peke and try and get some of that bonus gold for Mr. Rales, but it's not going to happen. Maima has to get himself relevant in this game.
Yeah, he really needs to do it, and he needs to do it very, very quickly. Moops is still building up that ability power right now. Archangels is stacking up. Take a look at this. They're going to go on Soaz.
Well, they're going to try and go on him. That counter-strike's not going to land. Soaz just speeds himself away there and walks off, put the shard on towards Maima, which slowed him down.
And that's part of the reason that Malphite does so well against Jax. That seismic shard steals movement speed from the target and gives it to yourself. So you steal Jax's movement speed, who's a melee champion. He doesn't, you know, auto-attack you. And then when he gets in range to auto-attack, you just ground slam. you reduce his attack speed, and it allows you, with the Trinity Force in this case, to bully him down and get more auto attacks down, comboing in those Sheen procs from your Triforce. So very smart pick. He's got a CS lead, he's got an assist lead, hasn't died yet, definitely working out for Soaz and Fnatic.
With the lead, what are Super Hot Crew going to do about this one? As of yet, I don't recall any game where the Super Hot Crew came back from a losing deficit. Once they were behind in lane phase, they generally stay behind in lane phase. And Fnatic, well, they seem to have the bit between their teeth there. Look at Mima. He knows Soaz is there, but he doesn't know that Peke is there. In comes Peke, wombo combo, and he goes down. Soaz needed to do nothing, just to stand there and auto attack.
Ouchies indeed. It was actually Soaz that got the kill credit for that one, but I think you know, Peke playing this roaming LeBlanc perfectly. Looking for kills. Mixer not connecting with the Death Centers. Now Fnatic are on this turret. They've got a lot of damage down.
Yeah, they're poking on towards it. Moop's desperately trying to force them, saying, come on, attack into my defile. No, we're not going to go for it. Not being baited in. And Fnatic continue to just farm champions.
This is one of the problems that Super Hot Crew have. Because they've got so many squishies on their side, even Jax has not built tanky yet. He's got Merc Treads and a tiny bit of HP from Triforce as his only defensive statistic. Until he can survive a full combo from Peke and then start getting in his face, that Jax is not going to be a very big threat. Fnatic can focus him down and then let Reckless and Peke, you know, just focus whoever else is in front of them, whoever's on the front line.
Fnatic are going to rotate their push now. Soaz is now in this bottom lane. The next inner turret will be the focus. You can see that white starts staring at Soaz. That's not going to last much longer. We do see Peke. I think he just went and got the red buff, actually. I do believe, but he just going to head himself back, going back to base. Let's see what he pulls out. It's probably going to be a Rabadon's.
Finally, mid tower is going to go down. I think right now there's not enough for Super Hot Crew to deal with it. Fnatic took about 7 minutes. Oh, Unstoppable Force!
Unstoppable Force! Caught Mixer off guard there. Moops again, trying to make himself relevant, but not really working out that pick so far. The Dark Binding lands on Impaler. He goes down. It's a double kill for Reckless.
So 2 more kills for Fnatic. They got the tower as well. Super Hot Crew, they just didn't go in. Moops was running away. You feel if they wanted that fight, Moops should have gone suicide Karthus mode. Get in the middle of them, get as much defile damage down. 3 members of Super Hot Crew now, maybe going to defend against this Baron. This is going to be risky. Peke can blow someone up.
Well, Peke was in base while that happened. He wasn't even there. He's putting himself in some Abyssal Scepter, and he was just seeing what he wanted to take with this one. Mima's looking to try and jump for it. He has to get that counter strike. He has to make it land, but they're quickly peeled. And you'd see Mr. Raleigh already desperately heading away from this one. Mima's going to get taken down. He jumps away, moves. He's trying to do what he can, but now he's flashed away. He's not going to be involved in this fight. Fnatic appealing, and Super Hot Crew, well, they're heading in towards Fnatic's base. There's going to be the shard landing from deep downtown, and so as well, he's going to push in this one. Reckless gets himself another kill.
So it prevented the Baron for the time being. Fnatic looking like they're not going to go back into the pit. Super Hot Crew gave up 1 kill, but they prevented the Baron being secured. So I think, you know, it's a difficult situation to be in. Super Hot Crew should not have been caught out under the turret. It was a small lapse in their positioning. They got caught out by Soaz, who did that great unstoppable force behind the turret. And, you know, Super Hot Crew, they just don't have the vision. They don't have the information to work with. They've been afraid to be in their own jungle because there's basically been Peke waiting to blow somebody up the whole time.
This is the passive Super Hot Crew we saw yesterday. They just... Well, I mean, in fairness, they actually can't do anything now because they're so fearful of what actually may be hiding in those bushes. They have no vision for it. You can see the wards ready placement. They've just peppered the dragon area, but to what avail? Are they really going to fight for this dragon, or are they just simply warding out of habit?
Well, I think Super Hot Crew are going to try fight for it, but unfortunately when you're 10,000 gold down, it's very, very difficult to see how they're going to win a fight. The only thing that Super Hot Crew can do to be victorious in one of these objective battles is to catch somebody off guard before losing a member, which means they need to kill Peke or Reckless before taking any damage themselves, and then as a team, focus down that very beefy, damage-dealing tank of Soaz. Soaz caught Impaler.
Impaler going in. Cyanide's going to try and catch on towards him. He's got members of Fnatic closing around. Oh, makes you dead. It's going to be Cyanide that will get the kill.
Like in that situation, why are you recalling in the middle of your jungle? You know Fnatic has been invading the whole time, and Super Hot Crew just, again, a momentary lapse. Peke throws out that Mimic, it's more poked down, and Fnatic are on the inner turret.
That's the turret going down. Soaz has not yet got an Unstoppable Force available. Did just use it a few moments ago, and that's another turret gained. 5 turrets to 1 so far, and as you mentioned, 10,000 gold. It's sticking as that advantage. Dragon is now up, and Fnatic moving for it. And as I mentioned, all those wards placed down there. Super Hard Crew can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and Pele at least repels from being killed from Peke in that situation, but simply put, they don't have the ability to challenge. They got caught out once again. When you're this far down, you need to have more wards, you need to play even more cautious. Moops is going to get stunned in place. Peke may want it.
The chain there, and Moops, again, his hit points just dropping off. It was a very risky pick taking that Karthus, and as of yet, it really is not paying off.
No, it's not at all. The theory of try to hold even and then win team fight later is a good theory. But unfortunately, when you go this far down and you don't have access to your own jungle, Super Hard Crew, they got that blue buff recently, but that's the first solid buff they've been able to secure. Fnatic have been challenging, they've been stealing blues, they've been stealing reds, and Peke, he's completely foregone that middle lane, and he's basically moved in and around the Super Hard Crew jungle, wherever Fnatic wanted to set their sights on a tower, and he's making it work.
Soaz with that Trinity Force is doing work on those minions as well and pushing those lanes. 3-0-9 now for Soaz. Playing a fantastic Malphite this time around. The counter, who'd have thought, to the Jax in that top lane. And Soaz, well, he wants to get himself a kill on Moops.
So I think the Trinity Force Malphite is a big reason why it's working. Because of the fact that Malphite already has the tools to deal with Jax, the damage that he gains from that build is allowing him to control Mimer's Jax. Now Mimer does have some HP, he's got that Giant's Belt build up, but he's far from being tanky and he's far from being a threat that we worried about. Once he eventually gets this built up to most likely a Randuin's Omen, I expect, I think he may even be able to survive a full combo from Peke, and then he can start challenging. Get that Blade of the Ruined King, stun him up, get some auto attacks. But, it's just taken too long to get to this power threshold, too long to get to this point where they can actually fight.
And for Peke, actually, the tiniest bit of respect, I feel, was given to that Karthus picking up that Abyssal Scepter, because he hasn't really had to worry about it too much just yet, but maybe he's just keeping himself safe from that Requiem. It really is the only thing in the arsenal for Super Hot Crew that they have to fear.
Keep in mind, a lot of Jax's damage is also magic.
Yep.
So his Empowered Strikes, his ultimate and whatnot. So that Abyssal Scepter does two things. When you've got Malphite, Morgana, and Evelynn who all deal magic damage, you're actually amplifying your teammates' damage as well. LeBlanc is going to jump in there, reduce the MR of your opponent thanks to the aura, and it not only makes him safer against that Karthus and Jax, it also helps his teammates as well. So it's quite a smart pickup. And we do see Mr. Rolls caught up, and Mixer Soaz, he could go in. I think he will.
Not too sure. He was just waiting to pull the trigger there. Instead, the trigger was pulled by the Super Hot Crew, and they've taken down Soaz, but it's only a GA that pops, and Moops has already been taken down. Here comes the Requiem. Soaz is just going to spawn straight into it, but it's a double kill for Peke, and they're continuing to turn this one around. Super Hot Crew going to force them away from this one. Soaz, where did you run to? How did he sneak around there? How did he get away from that one? Super Hot Crew, well, they just couldn't find the targets once again.
No, they couldn't. That was with Soaz not even landing an unstoppable force. He used it to try to get away. His GA was popped at the end of the travel distance, and Super Hot Crew still lost two members. Moops and Mixer got blown up by the damage of Peke and Reckless. Unfortunately for Super Hot Crew, they needed to try to find those moments when they weren't 13,000 gold down. Attack move catching out. Now teleport onto Mimer, he's the next target.
Teleport on Mimer, he's going to have that counter strike going off there. He does manage to land the stun, but Yellow Star's heading him off. We do see Peke also coming around. Mr. Rales is there to try and help him out, but I don't think he wants any of this. Now we can see Peke coming in. Went towards Impaler, and Impaler reflects on towards Soaz there. They're trying to turn it back around. Fnatic do finally back out because they're taking the Baron down.
Yeah, the rest of Fnatic now are just focusing on peeling away, keeping Super Hot Crew away from the pit. By the time the Super Hot Crew even get in range, Baron will be dropped. The big buff is about to show, and now Super Hot Crew in trouble. They've lost Impaler.
There's the Baron. Impaler goes down. It's actually going to be Cyanide that catches that one. Mixer's not going to be long with this world, and I feel that Fnatic are just going to chase on through. Ace in the hole there on towards Mimer. Oh, jumped just in time at that ground slam from Soaz. He's continuing to go here. He really got the bit between his teeth there. Mimer's going to get away. Moops may be the next target.
Yeah, the Seismic Shard actually caught onto Moops instead of Jax. I think that maybe would have killed him. Nevertheless, Fnatic wants with a very good play. They get the kills, teleport onto Mimer, allows them to grab that Baron uncontested. They had a tiny bit of a fight afterwards, still grab themselves 2 more kills. Fnatic extend the lead, going up to about, I'm not going to do math, a lot. Fnatic are now on the inhibitor turret. They've got a massive advantage. There's very little Super Hot Crew can do right now.
It's all one-way traffic, and we should point out that Unstoppable Force was not used in any of them engagements. So I'm still holding the trigger on that one. And if, well, Moops and Mixer come close like that, they may well find themselves bouncing in the air. Fnatic take the inhibitor, back away. Baron buff already on every single member. They are completely safe for now.
Yeah, Fnatic have also got all the tools they need to go for a tower dive. I think the way that they've played right now, they've controlled the jungle, they've controlled the lanes. They've never given the Super Hot Crew any chance to get back into this. And if you look at the performances, Super Hot Crew have become passive. Yesterday's games and today's game, they've done very little. Yesterday was different. Yesterday, the comp that could have done stuff, but they didn't. Today, the comp was a little bit more about getting to the late game. They wanted to scale. They wanted to slow it down. Just unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be the right decision.
Well, Mima finally takes that top turret down, but I don't think he was expecting to be losing out that lane phase quite so heavily to Soaz, who continues to just keep him at bay. You can see now he's continuing to build yet more items. That GA was popped in the last fight, but that's about it, really. Soaz is back up there. Banshee's Veil now completed, and look at Peke. He's on the hunt. He's going to try and find Mima. Doesn't land the combo, so doesn't bother following through.
Yeah, the chain didn't connect, and I think you need to lock Mima down in order to catch him. Peke still hasn't given up. They continue chasing at least a little bit further. We see Yellowstar, he's grabbed himself a Magi Soul Stealer to, you know, work out the, get additional damage. That's the words I'm looking for. Super Hot Crew just dealing with those super minions in the middle wave, while the rest of Fnatic begin sieging the top.
What I'm confused about from this entire game, with this Karthus pick, is the one thing you do against the LeBlanc is you don't let it get going. You pick a Karthus into the lane, you're gonna give him kills.
Yep, correct. And we didn't see Impaler. Oh, look at that damage on Moops. We didn't see Impaler shutting Peke down. Moops needs to be in the middle of the fight if he wants to help, but he's going to heal instead.
The Cullen coming out, really only catching on towards Peke. Peke trying to use that mirroring. Oh, I don't think that's going to be enough. No, Peke is safe. They're going to back away, though.
Yeah, a little bit baited into that Requiem, but now Fnatic are going to be so aware of that cooldown. They've got a couple of minutes to play with. And we'll see if they just want to siege up. And I think Impaler needed to have made a more asserted effort at killing Peke. Not necessarily just reacting when the ganks came in. Unfortunately, Moops just fell too far behind. He's 1-5-2 right now, in contrast to the 6-2-6 pick. And, it was a gifted lane. It was a lane that's always going to go in favor of LeBlanc. So you've got to give props to Fnatic for making it count.
Well, as ever for the Super Hot Crew, Mr. Rales is the shining light. He's not yet died. He's quite far behind in farm, but that's not surprising because the team would pretty much be bullied away from every single lane. And Reckless is just getting all the kills as well. But really, there is not a lot to say for the Super Hot Crew here. Peke baiting that one out there, the hook not landing on him. Of course, the Black Shield was on him from Yellowstar, and they're just going to push on this one.
Yeah, the tower's going to go down the next wave that gets here, and I think if Super Hot Crew stay grouped up, Soaz is in the base already. He's got that Unstoppable Force primed, so if there's any grouping at all, Super Hot Crew are going to get caught up. Moops is just waiting. We'll see if he gets in the front line. Peke's going in. The
super minions actually pushing in towards it. That's going to be the inhibitor turret down. And now Mima, he's just going to have to leap away from this one. Soaz still waiting to pull the trigger on this one. Ooh, they're slightly grouped together there. Mr. Rales installed. Certainly, they're all three grouped. Surely Soaz will go for that. No! Doesn't even bother using Unstoppable Force. They just don't care. They're just going to take the inhibitor and walk away again.
Yeah, right now Fnatic are just playing very, very safely. They grab themselves an inhibitor. Now they move to the bottom. This is League of Legends by the numbers. Every tower, every inhibitor, and getting the control.
Yeah, big wave of minions. That's going to get cleared out. Peke will take that one down. No problem there. They continue pushing. Cyanide keeps himself relevant in the mid lane as well. Continues to keep those super minions driving through the middle while the rest of Fnatic continue to just work down the turrets.
Yeah, I think Fnatic are having a bit of fun with this one. I think they're that far ahead that, there's very little that Fnatic can do, that Super Hot Crew can do to stop them. And as it stands, they're just looking for the perfect moment. Maybe Soaz only wants a 5-man Unstoppable Force. Maybe that's his requirements.
You notice the Soul Stealer picked up by Yellowstar?
I did.
Just a little bit rude, isn't it? Like you say, they're having fun with this one. Soaz, oh, that's surely the time. No, they don't need to go in there. Still holds on the Unstoppable Force. They do finally get the kill on Peke. Requiem's going to do next to now. Cyanide gets away from that one. Soaz, he's just beating down the rest of the team. Has got the GA back available. He gets kill on Mima, and the rest of his team come to his support. They did go trade in 3 for 2. But Fnatic continue to push.
Yeah, Fnatic are going to get this tower, get the inhibitors. I think they've even got the potential to finish this one out. We'll see what they decide to do. This is going to be the second inhibitor falling. The middle one has respawned.
Mr. Rala's yet to die in this game. He's the only man on Super Hot Crew. Dark Binding catches on Impaler. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. He's going to get caught out. Reckless putting the damage down. That's the final inhibitor going down. Middle one actually has just respawned. So they will back away. No double super minions, but I don't think that really matters.
No, I don't think it does either. Right now, Fnatic, like I said, there's no pressure on them to finish. They've got all the tools available to them, and it's really just a matter of time. And I think Fnatic taking their time with this one, enjoying it just a little bit. They do obviously play another game later today, will be against Millennium, and this is going to be a big confidence boost for Fnatic going into that matchup.
Not something Millennium want, honestly. Fnatic, though, they're going to get themselves a win in Super Week, and it's an all-important win when their record is 1-9 over the last 10 games. It's not a record to be proud of, not a record that any of the Fnatic players are proud of. They, been talking to these players on and off outside the studio, and honestly, often they were just unsure of exactly how to fix the problems, because Spain, speaking to Soaz, it's like, well, 1 week one player does bad, another week another player does bad. It's not like any one player was having a problem. They were just all having a spell of bad form at the same time. Yeah, and
one of the biggest things that affected that was that they let that bad form get to them mentally.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that we say fairly often, where many people following a bad call is better than nobody following no call. And if you commit to a play, oh, they've won a play.
The Lantern was thrown out, but that got interrupted. Soaz comes in. They desperately want to get Impaler because the Baron was already being started out. Now they're just going to finish the game. Mixer's going to be the next focus. He goes down. Moves is in target. He gets caught with the Dark Binding. He goes down. Peke roaming through. Soaz on a mission. The inhibitors are going to fall, and Fnatic will be closing this game out. No doubt about that one. Super Hot Crew yet to turn up in this game. It's a 20,000 gold lead, and Fnatic crumble down the Nexus turrets. The Nexus will follow. No doubt about it, Fnatic are looking good in Super Week.
Yeah, 1-1 on the week. The Super Hot Crew 0-2 so far. Fortunately for them, the Gambit, the plan of scaling into the late game really didn't work out in their favor. I think you just got to give props to Fnatic. They played that one exquisitely.
You got to question the Carter's pick. 1-7-4 was the final score for him. The only player not to die for the Super Hot Crew was Mr. Rales, as I mentioned, the Shining Light, but Peke just melted through them. And Soaz, wow, what a performance. 5-0-14.
Yeah, and not only do you have to question the pick, like, was it really what they wanted? The play style. I feel like when anybody's in a Carthus, you need to play quite aggressively. You have to die in the middle of a team fight to let your defile, let your passive work for you. In Stands, we didn't see that happen.
Well, you can tell Soaz, he always gets emotional about these games. He's very much caught up. As you saw about 2 weeks ago, he says, it's very hard in a team that is really a group of friends. They've been living together for, near 2 years now, this team. They really are a group of friends. They are performing so well as a team. When they're looking good, they look phenomenal.
Yeah, and these last 2 games have been significantly better. This is closer to form, closer to what we're used to seeing. Little high five there for Peke. I think that's deserved. His LeBlanc play was very good. Unfortunately, we did have another milestone in this matchup. It is an award I hand out unhappily to Mixer. He currently holds the European record for most deaths in a split at 77, which is a massive number of deaths when you consider they've only played, I think this is his 18th game right now. And it's something that Mixer has really got to work on going forward.
Yeah, it's something that I did note towards in the game, that how high he was in there, and I think he gave up first blood, if I'm not mistaken, in there, but he's definitely not been one to remember for Mixers. So, currently Fnatic, well, they are 1-1 in Super Week. It's not a bad performance by them, and the Super Hot Crew 0-2 and not looking in it.
No, they're definitely not. Yesterday they had the picks that were comfortable for them, that we new picks for